Welcome to the world of minimum wage, young ladies. After a little prologue to remind us of the fact that Lala acquired the Leo Star Pen last week, the opening yet again showed us previews of Miracle Universe, which was now in theaters. And while there was an unfortunate lack of Kirapati Lala, we did get a cool shot of Emir pulling up Prince of Egypt and saw the miracle lights from previous films being swallowed up by the darkness. Oh, don't mind me, I'm just, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, that's it. I can't really wear green because we'd get keyed out otherwise. Anyway, the episode proper opened with Hikaru introducing Elena and Madoka to Lala's ship's AI. I really wouldn't trust Taiga to teach you how to fix a rocket. Using some unexplained alien tech, the AI managed to determine the most appropriate jobs for each of the Precure in repairing the ship. It was pretty much just a way of establishing their skill sets, not unlike what Ruru did back in Hakuto. I'm starting to think all AIs have a thing against the pinks. But yeah, they all work together to help fix the ship, and I'm assuming Elena bought most of those materials with Madoka's credit card. Even Hikaru tried to help by doing some cleaning to the best of her abilities. When that didn't work out, she instead tried to have some fun with her little book of product placement. False advertising! Yeah, I've legit looked up reviews about this thing, and as far as I can tell, it has no freehand mode. Still, with this little non-existent function, Hikaru managed to come up with ways they could decorate Lala's ship. And in spite of the objections of her AI, Lala had developed to the point that she was all for blinging up what's essentially her car. Yeah, it could be worse, they could have turned it into an Itasha. And in an impressive amount of time, considering how huge that thing is, they managed to paint most of the ship, and oh sure, now you break out the tarp. While waiting out the sudden shower, the Cures took the time to also start decorating their own living quarters. This left the ship's AI a little confused, as in spite of adding tasks that are entirely for aesthetic value, it was also somehow improving their work efficiency.
It's a human thing. You wouldn't understand.
The only thing the AI knew for sure was that Hikaru's kindness managed to fill everyone with a little extra energy. But of course, since everyone was having a fun and happy time, it was a good time as any for the battle of the week with the arrival of Tenjo and her troops. It's not really that much of a hiding place if you've been here before, Tenjo. I mean, as far as we could tell, you were just earshot's distance away from standing right in front of Lala's ship the last time, so really, you're just returning to a spot that you should have double-checked anyway. Heck, don't you guys have flying saucers? Shouldn't it have been easy to just spot Lala's ship? Again, I checked, and sure enough, this wasn't an episode written by Murayama, but rather a Yuka Yamada. While she does have a fairly extensive IMDb, her only other Precure writing credit seems to be for Smile, with one of the episodes she wrote being that time the Precure forgot how to use cell phones. She's not necessarily a bad writer, but her writing style just doesn't match well with Precure, but more on that during the closing thoughts. And I know this is just a little detail, hence why I'm not really going to count that much against this episode. I'm just a little concerned that these writers might not be exchanging enough notes between each other. So they engaged Tenjo's troops, who just rushed them. Okay, I thought this lady was supposed to be the strategist of the Noto Raiders. But okay, maybe she has something else up her sleeves. Tenjo, I'm sensing a slight degradation in your tactics. Sure enough, her troops were no New England Patriots, and Lala managed to easily break their formation with just one shield, and after a montage of finishers, the battle was just over. Or, you know, come up with an actual plan next time. With that, the remainder of the episode focused on the Precure checking out what would likely be their living quarters for the upcoming arc if the episode titles are anything to go by. This included checking out Prudence's new automatic donut maker. Not approved by Karo-chan. Seriously, I don't see any sort of fryer setup in that thing, so I'm just assuming those are just plain baked donuts, which to me just bleh. Thus, the episode ended with them blasting off, and Elena's compass pointing towards my sign, the Libra, and Fua opening a wormhole to Lala's home system, the Hoshizora world.
Well, that was a very okay episode. I mean, there wasn't really that much wrong with it. It was more of a slice of life episode than anything else. And I think I know why.
Aside from Precure, Yuka Yamada is probably more well known for shows like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, U Game, and this season's Wataten. While she also does do some action anime, her bread and butter does seem to be slower slice of life stories, which aren't unwelcomed in Precure. This week, it was more about establishing the team's dynamic by showing off the sort of roles each of the Precure could play. This even enabled Hikaru to take a bit more of a leader role than usual by suggesting they perform morale-building activity by decorating Lala's ship. While this was kind of a blatant way of advertising a toy that has nowhere near as much detail as the one in the show, it was a cute lesson for both the viewers and Lala's AI about how did Jack put it? It also seems like they're building up the AI to have a larger supporting role, which seems interesting. What isn't as interesting was this week's fight. Aside from that minor inconsistency I mentioned, Tenjo almost seemed out of character here. She seemed rather obsessed with executing nothing but swarming attacks, even though she knows the Precure have area of effect attacks. If anything, this is more akin to Kapard's playbook, and considering that they just went back to a previous general, why not have used him instead? By giving Tenjo yet another L, it makes her look like the weakest of the generals, especially when it's treated like such an afterthought in this episode. Also, talk about making light of the fact that these girls are blasting off into outer space, the great frontier, and yet they treat it like they're going on a field trip. No farewells to the friends and family who seem to have played major roles in the characterization of at least 3 of these girls. In the end, this episode was just build up to the real start of this space exploration arc, which hopefully will lead to more sci-fi stuff that this show has been severely lacking for the past few episodes. Ultimately, not a bad episode with some okay team building, but not a totally necessary one either.
If you haven't seen it yet, I just uploaded the second part of my Doki Doki review. Check it out as I discuss the second quarter of this series, as well as my opinions regarding a certain controversial pink. And while I was putting the finishing touches on that video, this arrived in the mail, so yeah, expect a review soon. And until then though, farewell for now my friends, and... Oh, classes are about to start.